to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dr. Davis, the land acknowledgement.
Yes, as we gather today, we'd like to acknowledge that in Oshkosh we are on the ancestral homelands of the Ho-Chunk Nation and the Menominee Indian tribe of Wisconsin, who lived along the western shores of Lake Winnebago, Wisconsin's largest freshwater lake, entirely within its borders. We acknowledge these indigenous sovereign communities who have stewarded this land throughout generations and pay respects to their elders, past and present. We welcome the duty and opportunity to share stewardship of these lands.
Marvelous, thank you very much. Approval of the agenda. Dr. Herzog?
Thank you, Mrs. Wyman. I would like to suggest that we move resolution number 13, approval of naming of Oshkosh West High School track and football field, up to right after the other reports under board and administrator reports. So it would come right after 4B on the agenda.
Anybody else?
I have one.
Yes.
Can we pull the minutes of May 31st, 2023, and just move them to individually considered resolutions?
Okay.
You said the board minutes of which meeting?
May 31st.
Can I ask a clarifying question of Barb, your request? Did
Yeah.
you want to put that after the forums so people had the ability to speak first?
Well, do we have anyone interested in speaking on the forum?
I just wanted to.
I think we were going to, for number 13, invite
Okay,
someone up to,
gotcha.
after we have a motion and a second.
Okay.
Okay? And I would like to pull number 8, employee handbook update. Okay. Are we good? Wonderful. Okay, board president's report. I'd just like to report that I went to the rededication, Dr. Herzog was there as well, of the Chief Oshkosh Monument. It was very well attended. Tribe members spoke, city dignitaries spoke, and it was a wonderful tribute to Chief Oshkosh and all that he did. The plaques have been installed, and I invite you all to go visit it. It truly is quite inspirational. And we have 2 retirees this month. Robert Steinhilber, building custodian 3 at Oshkosh North High School, and he has been there since 1995. And the second one is Paula Averkamp, a science teacher, Webster Stanley Middle School, and she's been there since 1989. And well, all 3 of my kids had Mrs. Averkamp, and I can't say how inspirational, I can say how inspirational she was, and always made them think out of the box and truly enjoy science. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share about one of the retirees? Dr. Herzog.
Thank you. I had the opportunity to work with both of these individuals when I was a member of the central office administrative team, and we're losing 2, again, we're losing 2 very good staff members, and we certainly wish them all the best in retirement and thank them for their years of contributions to moving our students forward in their success in schools.
Okay. Thank you very much. Superintendent's report.
All right, great. So a lot of activities happening in our summer school spotlight today. So I wanted to highlight many of the programs that we have for summer school. So first of all, yoga and art. So we have yoga, mindfulness, and art students at Carl Traeger. They've been busy practicing mindfulness breathing, using their hands as an anchor to anchored to the present moment. So we know how important that is for ourselves and for our students as we're moving forward. So just wanted to shout out to them. So fun activity. Also had our K2 science programming going on. So Miss Perry's Science Everywhere class at Jefferson, having fun with science, craft, and experiments, and you can see all the smiles on their faces as they're getting dirty with science K through 2. So that's been another great opportunity for a lot of our young scientists. The math spotlight, looking at learning about math by making a fraction quilt. Again, you can see the students working on a variety of different activities through applying their math skills. Also, art class, grades 3 through 5. We've got some of our summer school artists exploring creativity, making masks, working on weaving projects after learning about the history of textiles. So the weaving in of academics along with the applying the art skills. Also, summer's a great opportunity for our students to go abroad. So we, from Oshkosh West, we have Spanish travelers on a 10-day journey in Spain. Filled with language immersion and cultural exploration. So thank you to all of the staff members that are taking up their time in the summer to be able to chaperone those trips. Certainly those are vacation, but they're also work trips for staff that are accompanying students on that time. So we really appreciate them committing their time and efforts. But those, we know that those are certainly opportunities that our students will never forget. So thank you for everybody that contributed to that opportunity in Spain. And we have our Brewing Futures truck is in full speed ahead for our summer, providing a lot of different opportunities for throughout the community and throughout the Fox Valley, actually, providing that hands-on work experience for our students to be able to expose themselves to different places for their work skills and to be able to provide a great service on behalf of the district across the Fox Valley. So thank you for them. Thank you to them. And if anybody's interested, the website was just posted. Is right there for their schedule. And then finally, just a glance at meetings that I've been attending as we wrap up the 22-23 school year. So thanks for everybody for accommodating that, and really looking forward to a strong finish and a strong start to the 23-24 school year. So that concludes the superintendent's report for tonight.
Thank you. Next up is reporting of future agenda items.
Yes, so I wanted to take an opportunity to touch base with the board. In your packet, we had a couple of documents related to our future agenda list. So one is the document that you're familiar with that looks like this, which provides us with a structure, not only short-range future agenda items and then what we look at long-term. So this is what we run our agenda setting on and our planning on for our executive team throughout the year to make sure that we're staying ahead of our workshops and our written reports that we have. One of the transitions that we've needed to make for this coming year is looking at our key performance indicators and making sure that we have workshops and updates on how we're performing on our key performance indicators throughout the year. So that's brand new for us because of the adoption of our strategic plan this spring. That'll be brand new. So I also included a document in the packet that was more of a table format that lists all of our key performance indicators along the left side, and then whether or not they will be presented to the board as a written staff report or in a workshop model. Not all of the key performance indicators will be covered in a workshop. Some of them are just a written report, but we have many of them that we'll go in depth on. And so we have the specific months that we work on these items that's listed on that sheet. And then I also have who's responsible. We spent a lot of time within our executive team talking about who's owning the key performance indicators. So we want to make sure that we're reflecting our new positions within our executive team chart. So one of the things from this copy, one of the things that was kind of a last amendment that did not show up on this copy will be our cybersecurity. So we have monthly, I've done monthly cadence for cybersecurity reports. We're going to change that to quarterly reports simply because of the amount of when we run our phishing expeditions, if you will, which is part of our cybersecurity. So doing that on a quarterly basis makes more sense departments to report out. So we'll be just modifying that on the report. But otherwise, I think we've got a really good plan. What this allows board members to do, as you have certain topics that you're interested in, or if you have community members who are interested in particular topics, then you can come to this specific future agenda list and find out where those reports are going to be provided. So that way we're not saying, hey, somebody stopped me in the grocery store and wants to talk about math, so next week we're going to talk about math. We've got specific times and we can guide community members based on this schedule to those times. Of course, we're always willing to be able to talk about particular topics that individual community members have, but as far as full board reports, we want to make sure that we stay with this cadence. So just wanted to be able to provide that and take any questions for board members. Again, tried to balance out the number of workshops that we have, not to overwhelm the board and overwhelm our time together, and it'll be plenty busy. The idea is that at the end of February, or during February, I should say, we'll have an annual report to the community on our key performance indicators. So as board members and as community members, you'll have regular updates on each one of these key performance indicators individually, and then we'll have time in February to just look at them as an entire group. So this will really keep us on track, and I'm excited about it. I don't know if anybody else is, but I'm excited about the idea of being able to have the structure and the transparency that our community will have to what our achievement is.
That's great.
Any questions on that?
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Very good.
very
Okay.
helpful.
Yes.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. District Administrator Supplemental Reports. Report from the June 14th listening session. Dr. Gunlock. Is this your last hurrah?
There it
It
is.
is.
Well, thank you.
Wouldn't miss it.
Thank you for everything that you have done for the district. It is better because of all of your efforts.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The June 14th listening session, we had several people come to speak. The first individual talked and praised the hiring of the new candidates for district leadership. Also encouraged people who did have concern to bring those concerns to board meetings and come and share them at board meetings. The next couple of folks who spoke also praised the new hires and also wanted to make sure that everyone understood that all of those hires will be working for everyone. It wasn't just for one group or another. Also asked some questions about what would possibly prevent students from walking at graduation. We articulated there's very few circumstances where somebody would be prevented from walking at graduation. Chief among that would be if you did not have the sufficient credit requirements. If people met the credit requirements, the only ways that anybody was prevented from walking in the past might be if there was some sort of a safety issue typically. So we talked about that a little bit. And lastly, there were brought up some questions again. If you remember the last listening session report, we talked about, can parents get the testing information for their children? The answer is yes, they can. Any principal or secretary, the request is usually just made to the building principal, and we can give a report out of all the litany of assessments that we take on the students that are tracked inside of Infinite Campus. One area that we were in error was I was under the impression that we had turned that on inside the Infinite Campus parent portal. We had not turned that on yet. That is something that we're looking into turning on in the future. So somebody who opens up the Infinite Campus parent portal can just see all of those assessments. The issue with doing that, there's no issue technologically with doing it. The issue is they don't always make a lot of sense in raw form, so you almost have to have a key as to what the data means. We also have the ability to run an EduClimber report that is really slick and is a lot easier to read. So there's several ways that we can provide this information. But parents definitely have access to all the assessment information about their children. The next person who spoke discussed on how we need to focus on the whole child, as well as material needs such as basic clothing, and they had requested a space at Menominee Elementary for a clothing closet very similar to the space that is currently in existence, or will be in existence, at Bell Phillips Middle School. And the last person who spoke was the new director of the Oshkosh Public Museum, who came to listen, introduce himself, and the vision for the museum. So it was an awesome listening session. So, any other questions?
Questions?
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Report from the Education Committee.
Yes, thank you. So we met on Thursday, June 1st. Let me start by saying that the first item that we talked about, the English Language Arts curriculum pilot for middle school, was in response to the data that we saw at the last board meeting regarding the 3 through 8, lack of a better word, struggles, I guess, in growth and literacy. So there's looking for ways to field test a different curriculum to see. So I'll just read. The district is working through this pilot with curriculum development and designation of ELA standards for each level, teaching students how to think, not what to think. This pilot allows teachers to have an anchor resource to collaborate on during collaboration time instead of writing the curriculum during that time. It is totally comprehensive, including curriculum, grade level text, and assessments. The rigorous curriculum includes scaffolds for how to bring students up to grade level. Since every child in a classroom has different needs, the curriculum used teaches the whole class a lesson and allows for a small group instruction. Students can stretch both up and down to provide a challenge for all. So hopefully to see, I appreciate that for myself, that there's a response to what we had talked about, and that was before the last meeting as well. So knowing that, we're working ahead on that. So that'll start for the 23-24 school year, and hoping for some good things there. Second item was the English Language Development Standards adoption. That will be on the agenda tonight to approve the adoption of those standards. To just summarize, collaboration among stakeholders, all kids are co-taught, teachers co-plan, co-teach, co-assess. Students start to learn language by observing what is around them, making connections, and starting to associate with the environment. This is important for all learners. Having an interpreter next to the person speaking another language is not the best practice, as translating all information does not help to acquire the language. And then currently 6% of the district's learners are English learners, which with predictions for over 700 students for this coming fall. It is important for all students to have access, and we saw a few meetings back, there were 60 different languages spoken within the Oshkosh Area School District, so we're all well aware of that. Adoption of the ELD standards framework aligns to the OASD equity non-negotiables as well. So that'll be, as I said, up for on the consent agenda tonight for adoption. Skipping July's meeting, and next meeting will be August 3rd. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Next, Facilities and Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mrs. Wyman. The Facilities and Finance Committee met on Thursday, June 15th. We had several agenda items. The first was to review the biodigester project to review whether or not that was appropriate at this time to expand it to all OASD sites. It's recommended at this time that the program continue. However, it would be more conducive to run the program out of Bell Phillips Middle School due to storage space needed. We also looked at long-range playground plans. Drew Nehans provided information on a proposal to standardize playgrounds and playground equipment. The elementary school principals, as well as a risk management consultant, would be involved in the decision-making. Playgrounds and playground equipment are used for more than just the students at school. If you live anywhere near or you drive past a school beyond school hours, you'll find oftentimes students and other visitors to our community, along with parents and grandparents at those sites. We are looking at using Fund 80, which is the Recreation Department fund, to assist in the payment of these programs. Cable Helmbrecht, who is our Director of Recreation, reported on activities over the 22-23 school year, as well as the summer activities currently taking place. Some of those include an increase in marketing, social media updates, and email, or e-newsletter mailings, and a new mascot whose name is Rexy, and that's spelled R-E-X-Y. There's been some collaboration with the City of Oshkosh and with Winnebago County to look at a program called BAGO, Be Active, Go Outside, and ice skating on the lagoon next to the Lakefly Cafe. We also reviewed a request to name the Oshkosh West Athletic track for a former staff member, namely Robert H. Moronk. Robert Moronk had an enormous impact on the Oshkosh Area School District as well as the entire Oshkosh community during his lifetime. His values first and foremost were about students. He was not only a track coach and a football coach, but also a teacher who was well respected. We also discussed with Sabrina Johnson stipend pay for deans. Stipend pay had not been updated in several years, and so the rate, if approved, would increase from $6,000 to $7,200. We had an update on inclement weather pay for support staff with Sabrina Johnson, who noted that she's had discussions with the OPEA, or the Oshkosh Professional Education Association, as well as other school districts in our area regarding inclement weather policies. This reviews not only the cold weather and the snow, but also situations involving extreme heat. So once final decisions are reached regarding compensation for inclement weather days beyond the scheduled weather days in the contract, the employee handbook would be updated. And finally, we had a budget update. We had an overview of budgetary information regarding the state budget as of June 15th, and there have been changes since then, but we reviewed what we knew as of that date. We looked at projected increases for each pupil, special ed funding, transportation aid increases for students who travel more than 12 miles, and mental health services. Mr. Nehans broke that information down regarding how that would affect our community locally. And our next meeting will be on August 17th at 7:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to go to individual consider resolution number 13, approval of naming of Oshkosh West High School track and football field for Robert H. Moronk. Is there a motion?
Move so moved. Second.
Okay, we are in the discussion.
So I'm wondering if we can have Jason Farney come up. So Jason's a member of the PE department over at Oshkosh West, and also was a coach, colleague of Bob Morank's. So thanks for coming, Jason.
Welcome, Jason. If you could introduce the family members as well, that would be great.
We have Greg Moronk, would be Bob's son, Ruth Moronk, Bob's wife, and you're going to have to help me.
Vivian and Eva.
Hi.
Welcome.
Bob's granddaughters. So, yeah.
Very nice.
Good evening, and again, I'm Jason Farney, and I'm a teacher at West High School in the PE department, and I've been teaching there for approximately 30 years, and I was a coach at West High School for almost as many years. I was very pleased to hear that the board is considering naming the new West Track and Field after Coach Bob Moronk. I'm here tonight to tell you I think it's an excellent idea and to tell you why I feel that way. Coach Moronk's record as a coach speaks for itself. Bob's track and field teams won 11 conference titles in the Fox Valley Association, which in my opinion is the toughest conference in the state. His teams won 8 regional titles, 5 sectional titles. Coach Moronk truly built a dynasty in track and field at West High School. Bob also led our varsity football team to its first 3 playoff appearances. He was a 2-time conference coach of the year, and again in the FVA, which is the toughest football conference in the state, in my opinion. And if you're coach of the year in the FVA, you're one of the best. So Bob's record as a coach is impressive, but his impact as a coach and teacher go beyond that. Track and football were high participation sports under Bob's leadership. Some of the highest numbers of kids participating that I've seen at my time at West. So Bob had a positive impact on literally thousands of kids during his time as coach. I sat on the desk next to him in the PE office for many years, and I saw all the kids come through to talk to Coach, to look for encouragement, or to simply thank him for helping them. As a young coach myself, one of the things that always stuck with me was that Bob coached all of the kids, not just the biggest, fastest, or strongest. He was a champion of the underdog, and he talked about that. He talked about the importance of working with the last kid on the bench, or the kid that maybe came from a humble home or background. Those kids had a special place in Bob's heart and always had a place on his team. Coach Moronk was also a great mentor for young coaches like myself. He was always available to talk and to listen to the younger coaches' thoughts and ideas. He also gave his assistants opportunities to lead, to learn from success and to learn from failure. Bob knew how to run a program, and many young West coaches learned a great deal from him. So in conclusion, on behalf of myself and the thousands of West kids whose lives Bob touched, I ask that you name our new track and field facility after Robert Moronk. Coach earned it, and I think he deserves this great honor. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Jason.
Discussion?
I'll start. So I graduated from West in 1999. Mr. Farney, I had you as a gym teacher. I didn't have Mr. Moronk for anything. I played for football as a freshman, didn't continue on, didn't have him as a gym teacher. Hearing the stories, I wish I would have. It sounds like a person that I didn't have the ability to get to know as well as and see the kind of person that I've heard from so many people in the community. But after naming the tennis courts last year, and now having the ability to name this complex for another great person from Oshkosh, it's really fun to have gone through Oshkosh West, experienced this, gotten to know people and familiar with people, and then have this ability to be on the board to name facilities for really great people. So it's an honor to be here. I thank family for being here and all the comments, and for those of us at the Facilities and Finance Committee meeting. It was a really moving, emotional experience that is just makes you happy, because how much somebody is loved and appreciated is fun to see, that people who have touched the lives of so many people. Yeah, that's probably it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Dr. Herzog?
Thank you. During my tenure as a central office administrator, I had opportunities to interact with Coach Moronk. And there were several things that stuck with me over the years in terms of our interaction. I found him to be a gentleman who truly cared about each and every student, and we talk about all means all. Bob Moronk exemplified that, and we heard that reflected in Mr. Farney's remarks tonight. So his accomplishments, his ability to get the best out of each student, to encourage students, to nurture them to be the best they could be, I think speaks volumes about the contributions he's made to this community and to the success of our students, life lessons that will stay with those students forever. And obviously he's had a major impact on his colleagues in encouraging them to always seek out the best in our students and to encourage their success. So I wholeheartedly support this resolution.
I had a number of West alumni reach out to me, and I wholeheartedly support this. It's evident from, the stories that they told me that his impact was tremendous, and I look forward to having my kids and many other kids use those new facilities that are going to hopefully be named after him shortly. So.
Call the roll.
Carnes.
Aye.
Szilagyi.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Wyman.
Aye.
DeWitt.
Aye.
Herzog.
Aye.
Resolution carries.
All right.
A true inspiration for so many. Thank you so much for bringing this forth and allowing us to vote on this. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Please do not feel you need to stay for the rest of the meeting. Go celebrate.
I think they should stay, actually.
Okay, is there anyone on the, I don't think I'm seeing anyone on the non-agenda related public forum or agenda related public forum.
No, it was just Jason that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, next up, we have the consent resolution agenda. Please be reminded, we have pulled number 1, number 8. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
So move Herzog.
Second, Carnes.
Carnes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I'm sorry, we can't do that.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you call the roll, please?
I was like, what seemed like it just went.
Aye.
Right?
Aye.
Wyman?
Aye.
Hewitt?
Aye.
Herzog?
Aye.
Carnes?
Aye.
Motion carries. Or resolution carries.
Sorry, it just rolled off the tongue, I apologize. Okay, number 1, I believe Mrs. Salaji asked to pull minutes of May 31st regular board meeting.
Yeah, I just pulled these because about an hour ago, just before the meeting started, we all got an email from a member who was at that listening session and who had a point that, sorry, now I'm kind of trying to, she just wanted to bring it to our attention that a specific portion in the minutes did not appear on the recording of the actual meeting. So I don't know if we want to just pull this and review it for a later date, or if we want to address it and amend it right now.
Right.
I have not read the email.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say probably pull it
Pull it
and then
and
let's
save
come
it
back
for-
to it,
that's-
just to make
yes.
sure we can take a look at it.
That's what I was thinking too. I didn't
Yeah.
know if others saw the email. Might
Yeah.
have been the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it.
Okay, so we probably need a motion to pull that item,
Yeah, to just table.
yeah, to
I'll-
table it.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Right, Carnes? And that's to table number 1.
Number 1 for,
Mhm.
so we
Perfect.
review the email that was
Yep.
sent.
And we'll
Great.
bring it back in July.
Perfect, thank you.
Yes. Please call the roll.
Right.
Aye.
Wyman?
Aye.
Hewitt?
Aye.
Herzog?
Aye.
Carnes?
Aye.
Solaji?
Aye.
Okay.
Motion to table it? That's
Yes,
carried.
thank you. And the next one, I asked to pull number 8, employee handbook updates for the 23-24 school year. I just wanted to make note that the first page is, in the employee handbook, is the strategic plan with the mission statement, the core values, the vision, the guiding principle, and all of the strategic goals. And I think that is pretty brilliant to have that as your first page of your employee handbook, so everyone completely understands what it is that we're trying to do.
Well said.
Please call the roll.
We need first and a second.
Oh. Wow.
Second. So moved by Wright, second by Solaji.
All right, Wyman?
Aye.
Dewitt?
Aye.
Herzog?
Aye.
Carnes?
Aye.
Solaji?
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Perfect. And number 14, approval of GO Transit Transportation Agreement. Dr. Herzog, I believe you asked to pull that
I
one?
did, so I will move.
Oh, we need, yeah, so we
Move
need to
approval of the GO Transit Transportation Agreement effective September 1, 2023 to August 31, 2026.
And I will second it.
Discussion.
Well, I had asked that this be pulled because I think it's one of those moments where the board takes a strong stance to make sure, again, we're educating all students. To me, this is an equity issue, to make sure that we have students being able to get to school on time. And when this was first proposed 3 or 4 years ago, one of the outcomes we were looking for was increased attendance and increased graduation rates. So I know that this means a lot to many members of our community. I got a chance as a member of the board at St. Vincent de Paul to interact with a number of parents who are seeking help with their rent or their utilities. And when they understand that free transportation is available to their school-age children, they are very grateful. So I just think this is a really important decision that we make. We've made other important decisions, especially the one on the naming of the West track and football field tonight, but this one I think is equally important because it benefits so many students in our district and makes a positive difference in the lives of our students. So I'm really happy that we're moving forward with this. I know we had reviewed some data earlier this year on the success of this program. I'm just hoping we can do more to market or to explain and make sure that all parents understand that this is available to their children, because I continue to encounter people who aren't aware of this, even though it's been around for 3 or 4 years. So I know there are efforts out there to make sure everybody knows, but we still have people after 3 or 4 years who aren't aware of this opportunity for their children.
I strongly support this as well. And further than that, you know, this is a great collaboration. And I want to thank the city of Oshkosh and the city council and the mayor for partnering with the school district on this so that we can help as many kids as possible get to where they need to go. So I just wanted to add that.
Great.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
We had the combined meeting, I don't even remember when that was. Was that late last year or early this year? We had talked about that, and there were obvious concerns that were brought up, and I'm very happy that whatever those were, that we were able to work through them and continue this program, because it, as everything Dr. Herzog said, it kind of has to, so.
Very good. Okay. Call the roll, please.
DeWitt.
Aye.
Herzog.
Aye.
Kearns.
Aye.
Salachi.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Wyman.
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Thank you very much. Those were 2 good individually considered resolutions. Request for future agenda items. Announcements?
If I can just, so this is Dr. Gunlock's last meeting, last event, if you will, for the school district, and just want to again publicly thank him for all of his service. You know, he's been a pivotal part of a lot of the work that we've done, certainly from a technology standpoint, but also from a referendum standpoint, and just want to make sure that that he gets acknowledged publicly as he enters his jet ski and the next chapter in life. So, but thank you for your service. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. We are going to adjourn to executive session. Is there a motion, please?
Second, Herzog.
Okay. DeWitt.
Sorry, I didn't talk very long. Because I,
Who's the second?
Herzog.
Can you forward that email to Dave?
Herzog.
Aye.
Kearns.
Aye.
Salachi.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Wyman.
Aye.
DeWitt.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have adjourned to executive session.